Hi, I'm Shoestring Jane and welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things thrifty, frugal and money saving. I've got Archie here to help me with my video today. I think he's a bit under the weather, he's been a bit quiet today, didn't want to do his ball properly. Anyway, so I thought I'd talk today, I thought I would talk today about buying secondhand and buying secondhand clothing in particular. I do buy a lot of secondhand clothing and I am no kind, as you can tell. I think this was £1 from the £1 charity shop. I am no fashionista. However, I do know people who really are very fashion conscious who wear a lot of secondhand. I'm pretty much 95% of my clothes is secondhand, and partly that's because I'm on a tight budget and I get it more cheaply if I buy it secondhand. Partly it's because I really don't like fast fashion. I would like things to last longer. I just think it's really wasteful. I think we're very wasteful as a culture, and I want to encourage secondhand as much as possible. So I write about it, I buy it, I sell it myself as well. I have an online shop and I sell secondhand, some clothing, mainly vintage, and some bric-a-brac and that kind of things, homewares. But I'm kind of looking a little bit more at clothing at the moment. And the other day, myself and my eldest daughter, Becky, who is like me and loves a bargain, a second-hand bargain, sorry, my hair's a bit weird today. We decided, well, first of all, initially we were going to go to a jumble sale. Jumble sales are the best places to get second-hand clothing, and they're definitely making a comeback. A lot of scout groups seem to run them. So have a look on your scout group, local scout groups' Facebook page. They're often on there if they do run them. Initially we were going to go to the jumble sale, then we realised we'd actually missed it and I'd got the date wrong, it was the previous Saturday, so that idea went out of the window. So then we thought, well, okay, there's a Saturday boot sale locally, we can go to that. And then it just rained and that boot sale was cancelled, so we couldn't go to that. And then I remembered that when I was at the auction a few months ago, I met a really lovely family from Braintree, and they said to me that it was quite a big charity shop warehouse there. It was a Salvation Army warehouse and it was very reasonably priced, and that I should go and visit it. So I thought, this is the time. Okay, it's not down the road, but it's not that far away. So we decided that today was the day we would go and do that. So anyway, we went to the charity shop. It had two warehouses on the same site, really big and really worth visiting. And I would say this seems to be a move, and I quite like this move for charity shops to have out of town donation points where they also set up a shop, because I don't know why, but they seem to charge less. Plus it's really convenient for you to just drop things off if you're passing. So, and they're popping up all over the place. So have a little look in your area and see if you can find any of these big warehouses, because they seem to be a little bit cheaper anyway. Got my secondhand oldie mug for my cup of tea. You may have seen that in a recent video. Anyway, without further ado, I will show you a little bit of what the charity shop looked like, and then I'll show you what I got. Okay, so you can see it was really quite big. I didn't actually film in the furniture shop, which I should have. I just forgot because it was so exciting to look at. You could kit a whole house out. in those kind of places for a few £100 really, and some of the items in this particular one were such good quality. I don't know if you saw my oak sideboard that I bought for £70 from an auction recently. It was really lovely quality. They had an even bigger one in there. I think it was about £120, so it was a bit more than I spent, but it was probably twice as big. Lovely quality oak sideboard. It would have cost a fortune new. So, you know, all sorts of lovely things, beds, children's stuff, like little children's desks and things, lamps, sofas, whole suites, just everything you could want really to get out of the house, as I say. Anyway, I mainly focused on the clothing part, as I said, because I didn't need any furniture. And one of the first things I spotted, and I did pay quite a lot for these, but I know they're really, really good quality and they're worth quite a lot of money, are these Loke shoes. They're all leather, so they're leather on the outside, on the inside and underneath. I did pay £10, which is quite a lot, but as I say, they are Loke England's shoes. They're in really good condition and they cost a lot of money. So I did sell another pair recently that I picked up quite cheaply as well, but they weren't in such nice condition as these. So I thought it was worth paying up. I also picked up, oh, I've just made it fall to pieces. It's a 2-piece. So it's phase 8. I don't always pick up phase 8 because it's not always amazing. But this is a really smart kind of classic black dress. It's a black sort of kind of knee length smart dress. And it has this little kind of cover up. So that goes over the top of the dress. So you could just have it as a plain smart dress, I guess. Or you could wear that over the top. So it's fairly classic. It is kind of oldish phase 8. It's only a size 10, which is not ideal, but I did like it, and it was £8. So I paid up a little bit, but I tend to look at things and think, can I get at least £10 profit when I'm reselling? Obviously, if I'm just buying for myself, it's a different ball game. Becky spotted this straight away as well. It is pure cashmere from John Lewis. As far as I can see, it's just a jumper. It's really lovely and soft. As far as I can see, it doesn't have any holes in it because, you know, the moths do get to cashmere, don't they? Or you find it's in the charity shops, but it's really shrunk. And this really hasn't. It's absolutely lovely, actually. It's really lovely and soft. I won't keep it though because I don't really wear smart jumpers like that. And that one cost me, it was just £4. That's an absolute bargain for a pure cashmere sweater. What an absolute bargain that was. That was great. I don't know if maybe they didn't spot that it was cashmere. This one, I don't know why I bought this one, but it was only £3. So I do love a bit of Joe Brown's, and it's a Joe Brown's jumper. You can't see that. It's a Joe Brown's jumper. It's got the label. And it's a cable knit jumper. I do like cable knit, actually. I do actually like this jumper. I think it's really nice. But it's a slightly bobbly, but that's not really a problem because I do have a Phillips de-bobbler. I bought it from Amazon, I think, probably about 4 years ago now. And it's the second one I've had, and they really do last a long time, and they're fantastic. They do an amazing job. And you can buy old woolen things that are a bit bobbly. You can see that's a bit bobbly. And really make them look as good as new. I bought a Joe Brown's coat, and it only cost me a few quid from a boot sale. It was so bobbly, and I wasn't even sure. It was only a few pounds. I wasn't sure it was going to cut really well. And I debobbled it. It took me absolutely ages, but it came up absolutely beautifully, and I sold that on. So I think that's quite a nice colour, and it's a nice cable knit, and it was only £3. So despite the bobbles, it was worth buying. And this one I'm going to try on for myself because I do love a bit of crochet. Although crochet is really, really very trendy at the moment, isn't it? And this is a crochet cardigan. As you will normally find with things like this, usually the labels, all the care labels and everything have been cut off, but actually they've got it here because they're see-through. This is a Falmer Heritage one in size large. I'm going to try it on. I think it may be too big though. That may be a sort of 16 to 18. And it's cotton acrylic, and that only costs £2. And so that's an absolute bargain because crochet, as I say, is really quite trendy. I'm going to try it on first because I love a bit of crochet, and then I'll see how I go after that. I've actually forgotten what I bought here. I love that when you do that. This one, I did pay £5 for this. I just thought it was probably worth it. It's just an Adidas t-shirt, but it's in really, really good condition. I don't know if I overpaid for that, but it's not something I buy a lot. It's a ladies one, it's size 12. It's not something I buy a lot. And do you know, actually when I bought it, I said to Becky, I may actually keep this myself. So I will try that on. But because I actually do have quite a lot of t-shirts, but I don't have anything blue. I've got a lot of black t-shirts. So yeah, it's fairly sporty. So I may have paid too much in terms of reselling, but if I keep that, I think £5 for an Adidas t-shirt is really worth it. And I think with sportswear, buying second hand, it's actually really worth buying some of the better brands. I have found that with hoodies, when I've bought second hand Adidas or Puma or Nike, they wash up really well and don't go really bobbly and faded. Whereas if I've picked up either new or second hand, I say Primark or something like that, they bobble up really quickly and look faded and tatty in no time. I think that if I can get those things second hand, then I probably don't pay much more than I would for a new item in Primark, but they last a lot better. I've got to actually, this was another experiment. I don't really know anything about sportswear. I see other resellers on YouTube picking up football shirts and things. I have no clue. But I saw this one. It's a really big goalies, really huge, isn't it? Goalkeeper's Adidas top. I assume it's goalkeepers anyway. It's got a little space for your hands, so for your thumbs, so your hands are kind of covered up. And it's really nice condition. It cost me £5 again. It's size 2 extra large, so it really is a big one. But I don't know, but I want to learn. So I see other people doing men's sportswear and football shirts and things like that. Don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I think, well, if I'm only spending a £5, that's a good way of experimenting. It's the same thing as I do with the vintage bric-a-brac, really. I don't know quite often. I think, well, if I like it and it's in reasonable condition, then I'll quite often buy something, even if I don't know, if I know I'm not going to lose money. My tea is going cold. All right, I need to do the bric-a-brac now because it's in the way. Look at this, it's a nice vintage piece. The annoying thing in this shop was that they sellotaped all the lids onto everything, so you had to take them off to inspect inside. I didn't do that on this one. It's actually, you can't see it probably, but it's actually Denby. I don't know if you can see that or not. It does say Denby on the bottom, and it's very vintage, isn't it? And it cost £4. So I haven't found that these little tureens sell that quickly or for very much money, but I couldn't resist it for £4. I thought it was worth buying. And then I bought a bigger one, which I knew this more modern style of Denby does really go. They've sellotaped the lid back again. I actually unselotaped the lid on this one because I wanted to see inside it. And they've sellotaped it back, which is very nice of them because I guess it didn't rattle around in the car. Right, here we are. Here we have it. This is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. It's actually white with a black lid. Oh, sorry, it's black, but it's white, got a white side. It's white inside. And I paid £8 for that, so I did pay quite a lot. So again, I was thinking, well, I can at least get probably 18, 20, so it's worth an experiment. And it's in nice condition. It's got no chips or cracks. So that's quite good for my little eBay shop. And I forgot about these. I forgot to show Justin these. The last one was for Justin. So these are just men's jeans. They're only £3. And they're just long, straight jeans. I can't remember what brand they are. I don't think they're anything special. I just thought they're Justin's. And what Justin does, he has, they're only Florence and Fred, Tesco's. So he has nice jeans and he does things like paint the fence wearing his nice jeans. And I say to him, but can you say, will you just put on some old trousers? And so it's good if I've got loads of these like older ones, I say, well, you can save these just for doing the garden, doing DIY, painting the fence, whatever. So they weren't bad. They're in good condition for £3. So that was everything I got from that store. And then Mum has also given me a few more things that she would like me to sell as part of her scaling down in preparation to move house. We've made a little bit of progress with that. She's now found somewhere to put an offer and it's been accepted. So let me show you what she would like me to sell. So I quite like selling Mum's old stuff because she often has things that I don't know anything about, and it's a good kind of learning curve for me. So first thing she gave me was this vintage dolly. It's a plastic doll. It's got kind of movable arms and legs and the eyes closed. There she is. She's in quite good condition, and somebody has hand knitted her at some point these very sweet clothes. There's not a great deal of value. I did look, and there's not a massive value. I'm going to list it. Maybe I'll try listing it for Mum for £10. I don't put her stuff, I don't put in my shop. I put them on a separate personal account that I'm just putting her things on, so that I can see how much money she's making, take off any eBay fees and postage, and then I'll be able to add it to her removal fund. That's the idea. So obviously she's not a taxpayer, so there's nothing that we have to pay tax on. And then this one was not really worth anything at all. I think it might be worth a fiver if we're lucky. These are 10 a penny, aren't they? These porcelain kind of retro dolls. And this one is actually a vintage retro doll, if there's such a thing, you know what I mean? She's had it long enough for it to be classed as vintage. And she said when she picked it up, it was just in a boot sale, and the hair was all scraggly and she was filthy, and she's just washed her clothing and done her hair. She's still only worth maybe a fiver at tops. And I'll be interested to know whether these sell. I've never really tried selling anything like this. I would never pick anything like that up in a charity shop. But say it's all for Mum, so every little helps. And then she's got a whole collection of these Quail cats. So they've got a Q underneath them. Sometimes they've got a name underneath them. And I don't really know how much these are worth. I've got to individually look at them and see if it's worth, this one's an egg cup, see if it's worth selling them by themselves or as a collection. I'm not really sure. But I say she's picked these, she's had these for so long, she just can't keep all of her little knickknacks. It's just too many. There's another one. And I won't show you them all, but I've got about another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about another 7. So I've got about 10 of those. So I'll be putting those on Mum's account. And then finally, I'll show you some of her little teapot collection as well. So she had on her shelves, she had all of the cats, and then on the shelf underneath it, she had a load of little teapots. And none of these are worth a great deal individually. This is called, it's a V&A Menacee Fine Porcelain, so Victorian Albert Museum one. And she's got a few different sizes. And she's got slightly bigger ones like this. The lids are somewhere. They're also in this box. I won't get them all out. She's got some nice little ones like this, which is, again, it's V&A. So she's collected a lot of V&A stuff, Chelsea Derby. It's a lovely little teapot. I mean, people do collect stuff like this. I mean, I know, you know, they probably aren't massively useful, but if you have an old dresser and you want to put some interesting china on it, these are the kind of things that you can put on your dresser. This one is a piece of Bradford ware. It's very kind of vintage and old-fashioned, isn't it? She had all sorts of knickknacks. You just can't believe the knickknacks she still has. I mean, there is so much stuff that, I mean, it's quite a job, really. She's got to get rid of it. She knows the size of the flat she's going to now. I think that's also, I think she thought that was Radford ware, but actually it's got nothing on the bottom. So, as I say, these aren't worth a massive amount, and she just hasn't paid a lot for them either. She picks up all sorts of things from charity shops and boot sales, and I do have about 10 more of this kind of teapotty type painted china, inexpensive, not worth a great deal as well to sell. But every little helps, doesn't it? When you're moving house, the cost of moving house is astronomical, and you know it's going to cost her loads of money. So if I can help a little bit and also just help her clear stuff out, then I'm going to do that. So these are lots of things that I've got to find time to list on eBay or elsewhere online at some point this week if I can. I mean, I haven't got a lot of time this week actually, because on Thursday, I'm not sure when you're going to see this video. I think it will be after I've done it. So on Thursday, it will be the UK, well, the English local elections. I don't know if that's actually throughout the UK. I'm actually working those. It's a really, really long day. It's 6:30 in the morning until 10:15 at the polling station. So I haven't done polling clerking for a long time. I've only done it once. I did it during the Brexit and vote and the general election about 4 or 5 years ago, whenever that was. So I haven't done it for ages, so I'm really, really hoping my energy levels are going to be up to it. But that's my plan anyway. But I'll have to then get these things listed, I think, over the weekend. And I can do that sitting down and recovering, can't I? So I just think, I know that mostly I started out talking about clothing, didn't I? But really anything secondhand that you can buy extends the usefulness of that item. And we are just drowning in a sea of stuff in the West, aren't we? And in developing countries as well. It's just madness. We have so much stuff, and we are just producing more and more stuff. And whilst we're producing all that stuff, we're creating a lot of waste, and we are using a lot of energy and resources. I don't think we really have that. I just think that there's got to come a point where we stop, but I don't think we're anywhere near that point yet. I did actually share on my YouTube community page the other day a video, I'll actually link it below again, showing the rise in kind of online live shopping. And I find it all a bit uncomfortable, these live shopping events you get. I came across it because a lot of resellers have started doing something called Whatnot, and they're doing live shows, and I felt a bit uncomfortable about it, and I couldn't really think why. And I was thinking, was it just because I wouldn't enjoy doing that because I'm quite introverted? And then I was thinking a bit more about it and thinking, people don't have very long to make a decision. They can't really see the thing you're selling very well, and they just get caught up in the excitement. So it makes people buy stuff that perhaps they can't afford or they don't need, and they'll end up just donating it or throwing it away. And I wasn't sure about it. So I then was talking about it on my Facebook group, which is my secondhand and frugal life, if you're interested in that. And a lot of people agreed, and they were saying that they thought that live shopping events were terrible. And somebody had said, "I'll watch this woman's," her name's Cara, I can't think of her surname, watch her video on this topic. It was really shocking, and it is shocking. I'll definitely link it below. It shows a lot of these live shopping events in China, and they're completely nuts. Honestly, you get about 3 seconds to see what you're supposedly buying. They're literally going and people are rushing and clambering to buy these things. They get no time to see them. They don't know the quality of them. They get caught up in the excitement of this show. They have giveaways in the shows and people singing and all that kind of thing. And it's absolutely nuts. It's like a parallel universe. Have a look at the video so you can see what I mean. And I think a lot of that stuff will either go direct to landfill after a couple of uses, or will end up in, I don't know if they have charity shops in China, but you know, if we do that kind of thing here, it'll end up in charity shops or just discarded, really, shoved in the back of drawers. So I think it's not the right way to go, really. I think we need to just stop constantly consuming and mindlessly consuming. And I think the live shopping events, even if they are for secondhand items, just encourage that kind of impulse to spend money, and you might not have that money and just sort of get into debt and spend on credit cards and that kind of thing. So be interested to know what you think about that. Have a look at that video, as I say, and let me know in the comments what you think. Also, what do you think about what I've bought? Have you bought any good bargains recently? And if you love chatting about this sort of stuff, do come over and join my Facebook group. The link is in the description box as well. Anyway, that's it for today. If you like this video, give me the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit your notifications bell so you know next time I'm uploading a video. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.